Welcome to Let's Get Writing. I'm your host, Catherine Taylor, and I'm coming to you from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland, Canada. So let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. My guest this evening is an exceptionally talented 22-year-old musician. He writes and records his own music in his studio in Torbay, Newfoundland. He's just released his first EP, Some Kid with a Guitar, and prepare to be blown away. What were you doing when you were 22? Yeah, that about covers it. We know what he was doing. Meet Xander Duffy. Xander, welcome to Let's Get Writing. I'm just going to bring you up here. I've got a little helper with me. And this is, hey, hi, this is Princess joining me here.
Oh, that's a good dog there. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. And is it nice and sunny out there in Torbay today?
Oh, yes. Gorgeous out. I think I might go for a run later.
Yeah, nice. Well, it's gorgeous here in central Newfoundland, too. We're having a wonderful summer and lots of heat and sun, which is what we like. I'm so excited to have you on. And let's just from the start let people know, because I really want them to hear your music, and let's give them where they can find your music and your social media right off the top here.
So all of my social media pretty much is at Xander Duffy Official, and you can find all my music on Apple Music, Spotify, any of those streaming platforms. And the EP's out in stores at Fred's Records as of last week. So, but
cool.
Xander Duffy is wherever you find music, it should be there.
And actually, we have your name showing up on the screen as Alex Duffy. So I think I might be able to change that right now, too, so people get the right spelling and get that up there. Here we go. And put it back up there. And that's how they find you. Exactly. So, and that's exciting because I went on to Spotify, one of my favorite venues for music, and was listening to your material. And it's just, it's really impressive, and it has so much to it. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm certainly not a music reviewer, but I know what I like, and your music sounds fantastic. Just for a minute, Fred's Records, that's a place that's been there a long time. I remember years ago, the albums were there. And what format is your music? Is it a CD there?
Yes, I have a CD digipack thing. It's just your standard CD. It's in there. I think I have 10 available right now, but we'll see how those go.
Let's hope we can move those for you.
Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful what you're doing, and I want to hear more about what it is that you do, because you have a studio in your own home, or wherever it is that you live in Torbay, and you do your recording, and imagine you do all the layers, and there's so many multi-layers to what I hear in your music. Tell me about it. Tell me about how all this comes together.
Well, it's fairly lengthy. I mean, when I first started doing this music thing, I didn't think I was like, I've been playing instruments for years, but I was never writing songs was new to me. And then the recording process itself is massively new to me. So when I got in there, I didn't realize I was going to have so many different things, but inspiration just kind of strikes and you just do one layer at a time. And it's like, you'll be making a song, and then by the end, sometimes you'll have I'll have up to like 30 or 40 tracks of different things, like guitar parts or like a weird clicky thing I found that I liked. And then it just kind of, you mix it and get it put together, and eventually it makes a song. Sometimes you put a bit too much. I've had struggles with that, where I have way too many layers and the song gets lost because there's so many things going on. But it's you got to find a balance to it.
Yeah, and I would say that comes over time, because I think engineering in music these days is so much a part of it. Like, if we actually heard artists without the engineering, and sometimes we do with acoustic productions and, or unplugged, and those are fun to listen to at times. But most of what we hear, I feel on, all the different platforms I listen to, Apple Music, Spotify, I think I've got Prime Music. I've got all of the versions, and I go through playlists and so on. But everything is pretty well packaged these days, and there's so much you can do from a home studio. It's truly amazing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't think 20, 30 years ago I would have been able to do this at all. Maybe even 10 years ago. Because of things like Spotify and services like DistroKid or CD Baby. Like, you needed a label before to put anything out. But now it's like you just search it up and I want to upload my music, and you pay $20 a year and then you can upload as much as you want. So it's pretty wild that, like, there's these services available to everybody, and it's actually sparked entirely new genres of music. Like bedroom pop is a genre, and it sounds like not good, but it means all the music is pop that's made by people from their bedrooms pretty much, or in their home studio, or it's just people like me, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing. And when you think about it, I mean, I remember back, gosh, I'm trying to think back what it was. It changed. Oh, it was Napster. Do you remember years? You would have been pretty young. Napster came out. And then that affected the artists, all this sort of free streaming and free music that was happening. But I think they found some ground again, and now, like, having these options open up. I think no matter what venue we're in where we write, I mean, it's just part of it. We've got to accept it. We've got to work with it and find the positives, which I think artists like you are doing. You're getting your music out there without massive representation, and sometimes great things come from that.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely an amazing opportunity to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And like getting the message, like for me, it's just about putting out what I enjoy. Like, I like making the songs I make, and if you like them, awesome. If you're not a fan, that's okay too. I mean, I don't like all music, but it's cool that I get to do that and just put it out there.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about your music, because this show is about writing, so I definitely wanted to talk to you about the process of writing songs, but I also wanted to talk to you about what inspires you. I find your music sort of tells a story in some ways, and it seems very organic and fluid. But talk to me about that process, your work.
Yeah, so normally when I write a song, I want to have some sort of concept. There's a few songs I have out that it's funny actually, when I write a song, sometimes I go in and I say, all right, this is what I want to say. Like Notepad Memories. That song is entirely like, I wrote that song about 7 times to get the words right, but it's like, there's little references to stuff, and like, it's supposed to be this story. And then there's other songs like Aren't You Colder? I don't know what that song's about at all. I found a bass line I liked, and then I was just saying words, and eventually something came out. And with the songwriting, it's interesting. Sometimes I'll write a whole song and then I'll realize what it's about. Like when I'm done writing, I'm like, oh, that's what I meant. But like, it was entirely like subconscious almost. I'm just saying words. But it is pretty natural. I mean, I get inspired from all kinds of things. I'm pretty guilty of actually writing songs like at school and stuff, which is not good. But like, I'll be in class and for some reason I'll get a melody in my head, and I'll start jotting down lines that fit in that melody. And then when I get home, I go at it for a few hours. But it's I don't know. I never thought I'd be able to write songs, but then when you just start, and eventually you get somewhere with it.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you mentioned at school, so you're going to MUN. I think, is it part-time now?
Yeah, over the summer I'm doing 3 courses, but I'm in the process of getting my business degree and my philosophy degree.
Yeah, well, very good tools to have in the industry. Business never hurts, because it is a business. Writing on any form, and certainly the music industry is a business, and philosophy opens your mind.
Yeah, exactly. I love philosophy because it's almost an extension of music in a way, because it's just like thinking about stuff. Now it does get pretty technical and difficult, and you'll talk to philosophy people for hours, and it's fairly extensive. Right now I'm doing logic, which is like math. It's weird. Anyways, it's it's a fairly diverse subject, but
I got to tell you, I took a philosophy course at university, and it was one course that I did not want to be in. And no, I was like, geez, no, I've gone into territory here that's different from my thinking, but I have an appreciation for it. It certainly wasn't my highest mark.
Yeah. I mean, it's not my highest marks either, but I love it. I've always thought outside the box, and it's a really good way to do that because it's pretty much entirely about thinking outside the box.
Well, that's what you're doing. Yeah. You're creating your thing. Now, the title of your EP is Some Kid with a Guitar, and there's a picture of you. You're pretty young there, and you've got a guitar. Yeah. Well, okay. So was this something you were born with? When did all this start?
Well, I want to give a shout out to my stepsister actually for coming up with the name for the EP. We were at the office, and I was trying to figure out what I was gonna name it, and she was like, just Some Kid with a Guitar. I was like, that's funny, I like that. And then we ended up using it. So as far as like me with music, it was kind of like when I was young, in elementary school, everybody has somebody in the class is a guy who plays guitar, and then like nobody actually really plays guitar because you're 10, right? But like in elementary school, in grade 6, I think I started playing guitar like very lightly. And then singing, I think I started singing when it must have been 10 or 11. But before then, I don't think I was very musical like growing up, because nobody in my family really, besides my dad. My dad's been playing guitar and singing for a really long time, pretty much my whole life. And in that photo, actually, that's my dad's guitar that I think that was his first guitar. So, I don't know how old I was there, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or something. Yeah, I was pretty young, but we actually still have that guitar. I have never recorded with it because it's not a good guitar, but it's around. But yeah, I've been involved with music since grade 6, not heavily, but I've always loved music. And growing up, I listened to a lot of like Randy Travis, and in grade 7, I had this weird obsession with Louis Armstrong. The whole 2 years, all I listened to was Louis Armstrong. It's crazy. I don't know where it came from, but
no.
And it wasn't like the popular stuff. I loved everything Louis Armstrong. I just loved that man's deep, raspy, soulful voice. It was amazing. And that's when I kind of went on my journey and found all these different artists that you wouldn't expect a 12-year-old to be listening to at that time. But my love for jazz and blues and all that just kind of kept going from there.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Louis Armstrong. I'm not sure I could do 2 years of Louis Armstrong myself, but I mean, What a Wonderful World is one of his more famous songs that we all hear. And the thing is that it's interesting that you would reach out to those different artists, and certainly you likely might not have been influenced by that in your environment, but where were you finding them back then? Because we didn't have all the resources you have now.
Well, actually, it's funny. When I was a kid, so in my dad's truck, I can't remember what it was, but I think the cassette was stuck and the CD was stuck. So in the CD was the Randy Travis CD, which is country, and it was either Old 8x10 or Digging Up Bones, one of those. And in the cassette player was Louis Armstrong. So whenever me and my dad would drive anywhere, the only options were Randy Travis or Louis Armstrong. And I listened to a lot of that when I was just driving around with Dad. And then I guess we listened to Randy Travis a lot more in the car than to Louis Armstrong. But I guess some part of me wanted to hear more than just that cassette. And, Louis Armstrong was the start of everything. That's where I discovered like Ray Charles and Bill Withers and just like every single artist that I take anything from is just directly from Louis Armstrong and just
It
straight on down the
all links
line.
back to Louis.
Yeah, because the crooners and all that, even
yeah.
Louis kind of part of that. So that's where Nat King Cole and Sammy Davis Jr. and all that came into play.
Wow, you picked some very, very big, powerful names there.
Yeah.
I asked you, I said, what's your favorite instrument? Because I was hearing guitar when I was checking out your Facebook page. And then you said to me, well, voice, if you consider it an instrument. And I definitely do. So tell me more about that.
Well, I've been singing for a long time now. It was funny when I first started singing. I was singing in the shower because we used to have the game SingStar, and I was on PS2. And we, as a family, we'd all play it. And there was this song by Snow Patrol, "Chasing Cars," or maybe no, that's right. Anyways, I was singing that song in the shower, and nobody had heard me sing up until then. And I came out, and then I didn't realize, but my family was listening to me singing. So my dad said, if I just lay here, which is the words to the song. Anyways, I went in my room and I cried because I thought he was making fun of me. But then, but he wasn't. He was trying to say I was good. And then that's when I got into voice lessons, and I got taught by some wonderful people like Justin Nurse and Justin Goulding. Justin Nurse taught me for 7 years or something, and he taught me pretty much anything I know about this as an instrument. And I like to use my voice. I like to layer it in the songs. Like I've recently started doing harmonies and stuff, and for a while I didn't even think about that, but now it's like it's almost part of my sound. I think in some of my newer stuff, like in When Water Chokes, in the chorus in that song, I think I have 7 or 8 harmony tracks under the main vocal. And in the stuff I'm working on for like my upcoming album, I'm planning on having my voice used as an instrument more throughout it as well. Because it's such an interesting instrument, because everybody is unique as a singer. And, some people have certain range and tone. And I don't know, it's the same as like buying guitars, but there's no strat. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has a unique voice, and there's no this one's better. That's why singing shows are a bit weird to me sometimes, because it's like if you paired up the best singers in the world, like Freddie Mercury versus I don't know, Nat King Cole, who's gonna win, right? It's like, how do you pick? They're both amazing, right? So using the voice as an instrument, I feel like it's the easiest thing to start at, because you don't need to buy anything. You just need to do it. And I don't know, it's the most fun because you can kind of play with it anywhere. And
yeah, you can take it with you, warm it up and take off and go, and you're always welcome at parties. By the way, if you want to break out in song anywhere here on the show, acapella style, you're free to do it. Absolutely. Because I can't include your music in the show because I'm not that technically savvy to add that in. Give me another year. But I'm going to have links in the bottom, and I hope that people will go and check out your music. You need to listen to this young man's music. It's totally amazing. And so just reminding people again, I put the Facebook link up there, and I think there's a few others I can share. Well, you have Instagram and DistroKid.
That one's not really the social media. It's more just how I distribute the music. But I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and I got a website too.
Yeah. So Xander Duffy, anyone, if you're watching, if you've just joined in, check out his music. He's 22 years old. It's amazing what he's doing in Torbay, Newfoundland. Would you drop something, Xander?
Yeah, I was messing around with a tuner.
No, pay attention.
I fidget. I can't do anything about it.
That's okay. You're wonderful. Look, when we were talking, and I asked you about musical influences, well, what name came up? Who did you say?
Bill Withers, for sure. Like 10,000% Bill Withers. I love talking about Bill Withers, but it's always people don't. It's weird. Like, it's like people know who he is because they're like, oh yeah, the Stand By Me guy or the Lean On Me guy
Mm-hmm.
and Grandma's Hands and all that. And it's like, I don't think people realize how much of an influence Bill Withers has on all of our music. Anything you listen to in hip hop, pop, and people who make the music know it. Like, especially
Mm-hmm.
I think in the world of hip hop, I feel like Bill Withers is really respected because he's contributed so much to the musical world. It's crazy. Like, I mean, the song "No Diggity." That's a sample from Bill Withers' "Grandma's Hands." Like, it's the entire thing is just Bill Withers in the background, and nobody seems to know.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, he's just, I don't know. He's done so many things with music. Like, he brought jazz and blues and soulfulness all into like one thing, and funk. Like, his first album was like acoustic kind of funk stuff, and then you could hear the soulfulness in his voice, and then he got really into jazz for a bit, and it just, that stuff's amazing. And then the feel good, like, the 80s feel good kind of
Mm-hmm.
funk jazz stuff, he has a lot of that. Just, I don't even know what to call it, but he's entirely massive influence on me. I mean, everything he's done in music, especially a lot of his acoustic stuff, is really cool, and his songwriting is like his main thing. The words he brings to his music is just so beautiful, like how he expresses himself in his
Mm-hmm.
songs. And I feel like that's what I try to do in my music, but obviously we're coming from different places, and I don't know, I just take a lot of inspiration from Bill. um,
Well,
Huge influence in my life.
he's certainly a good one. And when you said that, it was so funny. When I was in university, we had a dance troupe, and I was doing choreography. And one of the first songs I ever choreographed was to a Bill Withers song. And when you said that, I thought, oh yeah, because I hooked onto him back then, and his voice was amazing, and
Oh
I
yeah.
found it inspirational with movement. So I totally can hear what
Mm.
you're saying there. He's pretty amazing. And let's take it back to your music again, because like I hear some of that, I don't know, that fullness, that mellowness. There's a lot in your music, and the layering and so on. So like if you're doing a song, it must take hours, does it, or days or months? I
It
don't know.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, most songs I have, they start as a melody, or like some songs I'll write the whole thing first and then I'll come up with chords. Like, there's one song, "The Only One Who Comforts Me Is You." That's the final song on the EP. And that one I wrote every verse and every chorus, like just from beginning to start. I didn't even know what chords it was. I just had the melody in my head. And then from there, I tried to record that song like 7 times. And every time I couldn't do it right. Like, it wasn't mixing right and I didn't like it. So that song, I think I wrote that back in December or something, but it took me up until June to actually record it. So sometimes it takes a really long time, and then other songs go really fast. The one song, "Chill Vibes to Study/Relax To," which is kind of a joke name. I was gonna call it Day Moon, but that song's actually two separate songs that I just had something I came up with on guitar, and I kind of threw them together with a little transition thing, and that one I recorded in like a day, and it
Mm-hmm.
was probably 4 or 5 hours of recording, and it was really fast. But then other stuff, like some of the songs I'm working on now, I'm gonna put out a few singles before the album. One I'm working on right now called "Kiss Me Goodnight." I've been working on that the past 2 weeks, and it's going moderately fast because I'm almost done it now, and it's only been 2 weeks. So I feel like the time to make a song is anywhere from like when I start writing, it could be a few weeks or it could be months and months. I
Yeah.
like, if you're a songwriter, there's always another song. Like, I heard John Mayer say this once. There's always a song behind that we're hiding, right? And there totally is, because I have like 10, 12 songs that I'm not going to do anything with them, or they're just like on the backlog, like over there, not thinking about them right now. But I don't know. It's a weird process, this whole songwriting thing and creating music. It's like almost endless. It just keeps going because
Well,
there's always a new idea, and I don't know if it'll ever stop. But
well, if you have a passion for it, let's hope it doesn't stop. Let's hope that it
I
just
hope
keeps
so too.
going
Yeah.
and going, and that you are, you get to where you want to go. What do you have a vision for that? Is there a goal in mind? What would you like to see happen?
I could say there's a goal, but to be honest, my goal is just to make it, like, not make it as whatever. I mean, make the music,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that this industry is hugely overpopulated, and it's like the business side of it gets complicated, and a lot of the time it takes away from the music if you're too focused on, oh, I want to be Ed Sheeran, I want to blow up or whatever, because I don't really care about sales or numbers, or like, it's cool to have streams and stuff, but the reason I'm excited about streams isn't because I'm going to get money from it. It's because people are listening to the music and maybe they're enjoying it. So really for me, it's just about putting it out there and seeing that people are engaging with it. That's the coolest part for me, just being able to do it. So, I mean, my goal is already kind of met. Like, I've already put out music and people seem to like it. So if I could just keep doing this, I'll be happy.
Well, I sure hope you keep doing it. I mean, that's the soul of a true artist who wants to create, to write, to bring things to people. But again, we're just going to wrap up here now, Xander. And I just want to encourage people again to check out your music. The links are going to be below, and support Xander. If you like what he's doing, I think you're going to like what he's doing. Listen to it, share it, support him. Go on to, I'm going to say Spotify again because I hang out there a
Sure.
lot, and just search for him there and sit down and have a listen. And Xander, don't stop. Like, keep sharing the music with us. And thank you for sharing your time with me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I've really had a good time talking about all this.
Oh, good. Well, you know what? Come back again. And
Oh, for
when
sure.
we have and I'll try to integrate some of the material. Maybe I can get an engineer to help me
Yeah.
with my shows. You have a great day now, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
You too.
okay
Have a
now.
good
Bye-bye.
one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.